Have you ever wondered what really causes a seemingly healthy person to have a stroke in their sleep? No smoking, no stress, no known health issues. And yet, they just don't wake up the next morning. My name is Dr. Allen. I'm 60 years old and have been in the medical field for over 35 years. And if you're over 50 or have aging parents or loved ones, I'd like to ask you to take a few minutes and really listen to what I'm about to share. Because honestly, most of the stroke cases I've seen didn't start with something dramatic. They started with the little things. A harmless-looking morning habit, a rushed breakfast, a cup of coffee with artificial sweeteners, skipping that one glass of water when you wake up. Sounds minor, doesn't it? But it's those minor things that slowly, quietly, damage your blood vessels day after day. This video isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up, to help you realize healthy aging isn't about supplements or hitting the gym. It starts with how you live each morning. So if you're ready to learn the 10 morning habits that silently raise the risk of stroke in older adults, let's dive in. One step at a time, one story at a time, and maybe, just maybe one life saved, yours or someone you love. Have you ever woken up on a quiet morning with sunlight slipping through the window, and the first thing you reach for is a steaming cup of black coffee? Now, don't get me wrong, coffee isn't a bad thing. In fact, I love that smell too. Every morning, it makes me feel alert, alive, and sometimes even young again. But after over 30 years of working with patients over 50, I've learned one important truth. The way you start your morning affects your blood vessels, and possibly your whole life. I still remember Mrs. Linda, a 68-year-old former art teacher. She used to wake up at 5 a.m., brew a strong black coffee, and drink it on an empty stomach. I'm not really hungry in the morning, document. I just need my coffee to get going, she told me with a warm smile during her first checkup. A few months later, she came back, but this time it was after a sudden dizzy spell. She lost her balance while walking. We did an MRI, and the results showed signs of microstrokes, tiny, silent injuries inside the brain. Now I want you to picture this. When you drink coffee on an empty stomach, the caffeine doesn't just wake you up. It wakes up your adrenal glands too. It forces your body to release cortisol, the stress hormone. Now, if you're young, maybe your body handles that fine. But if you're over 60, especially with a history of high blood pressure or heart disease, that morning boost is no longer just energy. It's a silent biological shock. Cortisol causes a sudden spike in blood pressure, and your blood vessels, especially the tiny ones in your brain, are like rusty old pipes. A little pressure, and they start to crack. The scary part? You won't feel it right away. You'll just notice you're forgetting things more often, losing balance more, feeling foggy. That could be the damage already setting in. So instead of rushing for coffee first thing in the morning, give your body a gentler start. Drink a glass of warm water. Eat something light, half a banana, a few slices of avocado, maybe a small piece of toast. Then enjoy your coffee. Let it be not just a wake-up ritual, but a wise choice. Because after 60, it's not about doing more. It's about doing things smarter. Are you starting your mornings in a heart-friendly way? If this resonates with you, try changing your routine for just 3 days. Feel the difference. And if you feel even slightly better, share this video with a friend your age. Because sometimes the small change, like how you drink your coffee, might just protect you for life. Do you remember what breakfast used to be like? A warm bowl of rice porridge, some buttered toast, or a handful of sticky rice wrapped in banana leaf, usually made by Mom. Simple. And maybe, just because it was simple, it was healthier. But these days, I see many people, especially over 60, starting their mornings with instant noodles, a few slices of processed ham, or even a chunk of factory-made cheese. Quick, easy, convenient. But let me tell you, your body doesn't see it that way. One of my patients, Mr. Gary, 64 years old, retired but still active, used to eat a bowl of low-fat ramen and a few slices of deli ham every morning. It's not much, document. Just something light before I hit the golf course, he told me. But his blood pressure kept creeping up for no obvious reason, until one morning, he suddenly had a mild brain hemorrhage. Thankfully, we caught it in time. Now imagine this. When you start your day by loading up on sodium, from instant noodles, cold cuts, or processed cheese, what's actually happening inside your body? Your blood vessels, especially those in your brain, are like old water pipes. Sodium spikes your blood pressure. It makes your heart pump harder. The pressure inside your arteries shoots up. A younger body might handle it. But after 60, when your vessels are already stiff and fragile, this becomes a real danger. Many people have strokes while they still think they're perfectly healthy. No pain, no numbness, no dizziness, until it's too late. So let me ask you this. Are you truly nourishing your body each morning, or just filling your stomach to get it over with? I'm not saying you need a fancy breakfast, but maybe, just maybe, swap the instant noodles for a warm bowl of porridge or a slice of whole grain toast with some avocado. Just one small change can be a quiet act of protection for your heart and brain. Because after 60, health is no longer about how long you live. It's about how well you live. And if this message helps you, please share this video. Because maybe, just one better morning could save someone you love from the biggest tragedy of their life. Do you drink water right after waking up? Sounds like a simple question, right? But sometimes it's the simplest things that we forget the most. I remember a patient named Linda, 67 years old, living alone after her husband passed away. Every morning, she'd wake up, brew some coffee, turn on the news. She thought she was doing just fine. But in the past few months, she'd been feeling tired, had mild headaches, and occasional numbness in her hands and feet. So I asked her, "Do you drink water in the morning?" She shook her head. "No, I'm not thirsty. I just drink coffee instead." And that, right there, was the problem. When you sleep for 7 to 8 hours, your body goes that entire time without any water. You wake up mildly dehydrated, even if you don't feel thirsty. Your blood becomes thicker, like a stream that's slowed down because there's not enough water flowing. And when your blood thickens, your risk of blood clots silently goes up. And just one small clot, if it travels to your brain, can cause a stroke in seconds. All because you forgot to drink water. Now imagine this. One glass of warm water in the morning doesn't just soothe your throat. It gently jumpstarts your entire circulatory system. It helps your blood flow smoother. It supports your liver, kidneys, heart, even your brain, to work more efficiently and calmly. No fancy tricks. No expensive supplements. Just one glass of warm water, and you've already given your body one of the simplest natural medicines to prevent serious risk. Have you ever forgotten to drink water in the morning? I have, and so have many others. But if you're hearing this now, today is your chance to start fresh. Tomorrow morning, before you sip coffee, before you check your phone, before you turn on the TV, drink a warm glass of water, slowly, mindfully, and know that in that small moment, you're taking care of yourself. Because turning 60 doesn't mean ignoring your body. It means listening to it more closely than ever before. And when it comes to what we put into our bodies each morning, I want you to think about one more thing, something that seems harmless, but quietly leaves long-term damage. We've already talked about water, about coffee, and those little habits that carry big consequences. But this one is trickier. It's sweet, but not sugar. I'm talking about artificial sweeteners, something many people over 60 consume daily, often believing it's better than sugar. You know what I mean. That little packet in your coffee. The pink one, the yellow one, or maybe a zero-calorie syrup. They're in your breakfast cereal, in sugar-free candies, in your favorite diet sodas. But have you ever stopped to ask, if it's not sugar, how does my body process it? I had a patient, Mr. David, 72 years old. He was pre-diabetic, switched to all sugar-free foods, thinking he was being safe. But then, he started forgetting things, losing balance. His MRI didn't show a full-blown stroke, but the neurologists found signs of microstrokes, tiny areas of brain damage, building up over time. Artificial sweeteners, while calorie-free, can disrupt your insulin response. They confuse your body's ability to manage blood sugar properly. And that creates the perfect storm for damaged blood vessels, clots, blockages, inflammation. But unlike regular strokes, microstrokes don't come with dramatic signs. You don't collapse. Your face doesn't droop. Instead, you just start feeling a little off. More forgetful. Dizzy. Foggy. Now, I'm not saying you should be afraid of everything sugar-free. But I am saying, be aware. Read the labels. Talk to your doctor. And above all, listen to your body more than the advertising. Are you drinking or eating something sweet but not sugar every day? If so, maybe it's time to re-examine your relationship with that artificial sweetness. Because sometimes, the best thing you can do for your brain and your heart is to keep things simple, not sweet, but real, whole, and truly good for you. You know, in the end, we can't live a healthy life if we keep starting each day with something artificially sweet, something that only pretends to bring comfort. And worse than that is when we start our day with emptiness. Yes, I'm talking about skipping breakfast. I get it. Some mornings, you just want to stay in bed a little longer. Time flies, and you tell yourself, it's fine. I'll just drink some water and eat later. But that later, it often ends up being midday. One of my patients, Mrs. Linda, 68 years old, a retired teacher. She lives alone, wakes up early, tends to her garden, drinks her coffee, but eats almost nothing until noon. She thought she was fine, but during a routine checkup, her blood pressure was unusually high, and her brain scan showed tiny signs of silent strokes. You see, skipping breakfast doesn't just leave your body low on fuel. It puts your nervous system into internal stress mode, a quiet kind of stress, but a dangerous one. Your body responds by releasing cortisol, the stress hormone. And when cortisol stays high every morning, it raises your blood pressure. Over time, your blood vessels weaken. And we both know, strokes don't always give warnings. A large study on older adults found this. Those who routinely skip breakfast had up to an 87% higher risk of dying from heart disease. That number is not a joke. Now I know some people say, but I'm just not hungry in the morning. And I get that. But hunger and need, those are two different things. You don't have to eat a lot, but you do need something. A bowl of congee, a banana, a bit of oatmeal, even a slice of toast with a boiled egg. Something to wake up your nervous system. To tell your body, I'm alive, and I choose to begin my day with intention. Breakfast isn't just calories. It's the first greeting you send to your brain and your heart. So don't stay silent. Don't stay empty. Start your day with something kind to yourself. You remember what I said earlier? That breakfast is the first greeting you send to your brain and your heart. Well then, let me ask you something. What time do you usually send that greeting? I know. A lot of people wake up late, or they wake early but get busy, looking after grandkids, watering the plants, cleaning the house. Then suddenly it's 9, 9:30, even 10 a.m. before they finally sit down to eat. And they think, as long as I still eat, I should be fine, right? Unfortunately, your body doesn't quite agree. I want you to imagine your body as a symphony orchestra. Each organ plays a different instrument. And between 6 and 8 a.m., your pancreas, liver, and blood vessels are the lead performers. But if you don't start the music on time, everything begins to fall out of rhythm. A study following over 100,000 people for 6 years found those who ate breakfast after 9 a.m. had a 28% higher risk of stroke than those who ate before 8 a.m. Why? Because eating late disrupts your body's internal clock. Your liver and pancreas, the organs in charge of processing sugar and fat, miss their golden hour of efficiency. Your digestion slows, blood sugar swings wildly, and blood pressure becomes harder to control. One of my patients, Mr. Gerald, 72, believed that eating late would make his stomach feel lighter. But after a sudden dizzy spell, he was diagnosed with a mild stroke, traced back to unstable morning blood pressure. Now I'm not saying you need to eat immediately after waking up, but try to keep a steady morning routine, ideally before 8:30 a.m. Start with a warm glass of water, then a light, nourishing breakfast. You're not just having a meal. You're protecting your natural rhythm. And always remember, you may not control how the entire day unfolds, but you can choose how it begins. She had been awake, but just sat there for nearly 40 minutes without moving. Then suddenly, as she stood up, She stumbled, felt dizzy, completely lost her balance. The MRI scan revealed something unexpected. A mini-stroke, no clear signs of paralysis, but it affected her balance and memory afterward. Let me tell you this. You don't need to do intense workouts to protect your brain. Sometimes all it takes is just 5 to 10 minutes each morning. Stand up, stretch your arms, take a few deep breaths, walk gently around the room. What you're doing is helping your blood circulate, bringing oxygen to your brain, and waking up every cell in your body. This isn't just movement. It's a message, a way of telling your body, I'm still here. I still want to live well and stay sharp every day. And if you're watching this video in the morning, I invite you, stand up with me. Just 5 minutes. Start your day with motion, and more importantly, with a little love for yourself. I know these breakfast foods look friendly. A bowl of crunchy cereal, a fruity yogurt cup, maybe a quick pastry to kill the hunger. Sweet, convenient, and seemingly harmless. But let me tell you something. Sugar, in any form, is a silent stimulant, especially dangerous when it enters your system right after waking up, when your pancreas is still groggy and not ready to work. Imagine this. You flip on an old machine and immediately force it to run at full power. That's exactly what you're doing to your pancreas when you start your day with sugary foods. I had a patient, Mr. Rick, 72. He loved this heart-healthy cereal that ads claimed was good for you. He ate it every single morning for 3 straight years. Then one day, he started experiencing dizziness after breakfast. He began forgetting little things. His steps became unsteady. The diagnosis: multiple mini-strokes. Small, silent attacks. He never even realized they were happening. Science has shown this clearly. When insulin is forced to spike again and again, your blood vessels become inflamed, and the ones in your brain, they're the most vulnerable. Over time, those micro-damages, they don't scream, they don't warn, but they leave a trail in your memory, your clarity, your balance. So if you can, start your morning with protein, with fiber, or at least a warm glass of water. Instead of sugar, give your body something sweeter. Stability, gentleness, a kind start that doesn't stress your heart. Breakfast doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be kind, because what you choose to eat in the morning can shape the quality of your day and the health of your future. I know, some nights you just can't fall asleep early. An unfinished book, a gripping movie, or simply a mind that won't stop racing. But my dear friend, when you cut your sleep short, you're also cutting short your body's healing time. Sleep, especially at night, isn't just about rest. It's when your body repairs itself, your blood vessels, your nerves, and your heart. I once treated a patient, Linda, 68. She often stayed up until 2 a.m., playing online Sudoku. She told me, "But doctor, I don't feel tired. I'm alert and happy." But her tests showed otherwise. High cortisol and unstable blood pressure every morning. Then one morning, she collapsed in the bathroom. That stroke left her unable to balance properly for 6 months. Sleeping less than 6 hours a night. It might sound harmless, but it can actually double your risk of stroke. Why? Because your blood vessels don't get the downtime they need to recover. And beyond that, your entire biological system gets thrown off. Late sleep, late breakfast, disrupted insulin, blood pressure, heart rhythm. I know you're busy. I know sometimes loneliness keeps you up longer than usual. But if I could give you one small piece of advice to protect your brain, your heart, and your years ahead, it's this. Try to sleep before 10:30 p.m. Give your body at least 7 peaceful hours each night. Because in the end, sleep is the most powerful medicine that doesn't come in a bottle. And when you prioritize it, you're quietly, but powerfully, investing in your own future. Have you ever asked yourself, I feel fine, so do I really need to check my blood pressure every morning? Many people think blood pressure only matters when they feel dizzy, tired, or have headaches. But let me tell you something. A stroke doesn't ask for permission before it arrives. In over 30 years as a neurologist, I've seen far too many patients collapse just hours after waking up. No warning signs, no symptoms. But when we look back, Their morning blood pressure had been rising, quietly, steadily for weeks. One of my patients, John, 72, once told me, "I didn't check because I felt fine." Then one morning, he had a minor brain bleed, a small stroke, and ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks. His biggest regret? "I wish I had taken just 1 minute each morning to check my pressure." Morning, between 5 and 10 a.m., is when blood pressure naturally spikes. And it's also the time when most strokes happen. You can't see it. You can't feel it. But if you don't check, you won't know. Just one small habit, picking up the monitor and checking for 1 minute, that could become a silent shield, protecting both your brain and your heart. So tomorrow morning, before breakfast, even before your first cup of coffee, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what's my blood pressure today? And then check it. You can forget many things, but don't forget this one. Because when you check your blood pressure, you're showing yourself that your health really matters. My dear friend, we can't control everything in life, but we can choose how we begin each morning. No one thinks that just a glass of water, a quick stretch, or checking your blood pressure could change their health. But I've seen it hundreds of times. I know you've been busy. You've told yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow." But once you're over 50, mornings are no longer to be wasted. They are opportunities to live better, to feel stronger, to stay here longer. I'm not saying all this to scare you. I say it because I truly care. And if you've listened this far, I know you care about yourself, too. So let's start tomorrow, or even today. Backhand index pointing right, drink a warm glass of water. Backhand index pointing right, check your blood pressure. Backhand index pointing right, skip the sugary, processed stuff. Backhand index pointing right, and don't forget to breathe and smile. You don't have to change the whole world. Just change your own morning. I'm Dr. Allen, 60 years old, still jogging every morning, because I'm learning to love myself, one day at a time. And if this message helped you in any way, leave a kind word, drop a like, or share it with someone older you care about, because all of us need a gentle reminder now and then.